Okay, welcome into Up on Game. That's right. We are going live every single week to give you something every single day. That's got to put you up on game. Right now, it's me and TJ. If you want to check us out, go on Twitter. You can see Housh84 or at LaVar Arrington. You can check out at Fox Sports Radio. You can also go to where it is that you get your podcast and hear this in its entirety, where the podcasts are Up on Game and Up on Game Presents. Make sure you check it out, follow, all that good stuff. All right, without further ado, we're going to jump into the topics of the day. We got Kendricks, the cornerback from the Rams, who had a firearm and had weed in the car and got arrested facing a concealed weapon charge. We'll get into that in a matter of moments, but you know the bigger topic here is us discussing what took place on Monday Night Football with Dallas and with the Chargers. What's your reaction to what took place, TJ? I know, you're documented as saying that, what you were feeling about what the Chargers would do. So was Plexico Burris, but I mean, we saw what took place. Give me your feedback on what you saw.
It was a good game. It really was a good game. The Dallas defensive line pretty much won that game. Justin Herbert was pressured. Dak Prescott wasn't. And when he was pressured, he found a way to slither out of it and create a play. I was at the game. I just felt like, as a fan, man, and it's both ways. It's not just one-sided. These refs are bad, bro. They make too many calls that impact the game. Like it's not like, oh, this is a holding call, and they're making calls that are impacting the game. Not to take away from Dallas's victory. They played a great game defensively. That defensive line was all over the place. And when you look at it, for the majority of the game, all they did was man the Chargers up. We're going to man them up. Get open. And Keenan Allen is the only guy on the Chargers team that can consistently get open. Josh Palmer had moments. He had moments. But Keenan Allen is the only one consistently getting open. You draft Quentin Johnson in the first round. He got to be able to win these one-on-one matchups because that's what you draft them in the first round for. But kudos to Dan Quinn and the Dallas Cowboys because defensively, they stepped up. Like, I was shocked that the Chargers weren't able to move the ball at will just because of how good of a quarterback Justin Herbert is and the offensive weapons that I thought the Chargers had, and those weapons are just really Keenan Allen.
Mm-hmm. Austin Eckler came back. He's a weapon. I just feel like this. This is what I think, TJ, and this is what I felt going into the game. Dan Quinn is a masterful defensive coordinator's mind. He's probably even a head coach that should just get a strong offensive coordinator. I think he handles things successfully as a head coach. It's been proven. If you're not as good as he is as a defensive coordinator's mind, you're going to have a problem with Dallas's defense. And going into that game, I felt as though, one, he knew their offensive coordinator, obviously, because he just left Dallas to go to the Chargers. Two, I don't think that this coaching staff was going to be able to dial up the plays that would outdo what the scheme was going to be coming from Dallas. I think Staley was over his head. I really do. And it played out the way I thought. Both defenses were going to play tough. The Chargers defense gave them every opportunity to win that game. So did Dallas's defense. It gave them every opportunity to win the game, TJ.
I hate to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Let's go to the fourth quarter, okay?
Mm-hmm.
After Dallas muffed the punt, the Chargers score, Dallas gets the ball back. It's 3rd and 18. It's 3rd and 18. And the referees call holding?
They did.
You really don't think that's going to impact the game?
It did.
Like, it just, you call holding in the Super Bowl, you don't think that's going to impact the game? You don't call holding on the Buffalo Bills when they held Darren Waller on untimed down because you know that's going to impact the game. You don't call that. And so that's my, it just really irritates me because I'm a passionate person. I played with passion as a player. There's nothing more than you hate when things like that, like Derwin James gets called for unnecessary roughness. And then later in the game, you see some of the defensive players pulling up because it looks like Pollard may go down, and then he doesn't. He goes for 60. And so it's just the Cowboys needed this win. The Chargers really needed this win just because it's both of these teams felt like, especially the Chargers, Staley, each game that you lose, you feel like your butt is on the line. But I will say this, it was a great game. I just want come on, man, 3rd and 18 in the NFL. What's the probabilities of you getting that? And you get the first down from a penalty.
It's not very probable, but we've been seeing the inconsistencies from the referees. And I think that while I buy in and subscribe to what you're saying, it just has become a part of what you have to prepare for. It's a part of the field, so to speak.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because you kind of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and you play with a little passion yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How would you handle that, you being a defensive player, and you feel like you're getting unnecessary roughness or bad holding calls? How would you handle that in today's game? Would you verbally say something, or would you handle it differently?
I think it's a difficult proposition for someone like me to be in a situation where the inconsistencies are the way that they are, because while people thought I was crazy and undisciplined and uneducated, I'm actually pretty cerebral. And so I would have actually looked over everything that was taking place and how the inconsistencies were taking place. And I actually would have had one of the film people put a cut sheet together and send it in. I would send it in because and I know I would do it that way because I was one of the most fined players my second or third year in the league. I was most fined just from hits. Like I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was just hitting guys too hard.
You really would be fine today.
I would
Oh
probably
my
be getting ejected from games as hard as I was hitting people. But it's so crazy because I saw one play where the guy, he hit him flush. I mean, it was I don't remember what game it was, but I mean he thumped him and they threw the flag and it gave them a first down, and it was 100% a clean hit. And it was on Sunday. It was a Sunday hit. And I want to say it was on Fox. Maybe it was a Fox game, but it was a clean hit. The safety hit him flush, blew him up, drops the ball. They get a flag. They get a first down for unnecessary roughness. I think the inconsistencies of how the refs call the games are definitely higher. I think it's been ratcheted up. I think it's definitely more pronounced this year. And there's a lot of inconsistencies. Like on that last play, just jumping around, but on that last play with Kansas City against New York, where Sauce got called for wait, hold on. What was their not Philly? What was the game before? What was the game before?
With who?
Because they were on whoever they were playing against, they were on a game-winning drive, and there was a no call. It was against KC. KC was on defense. It wasn't New York, it was KC on defense. And they got a no call in the end zone for pass interference.
Yes. That was against the Jets.
Was it the Jets?
Remember, he took his helmet off.
And then he took his helmet off. That should be a penalty. And on the pass rush, one of the players grabbed the guy by his face mask and took his face mask up in the pass rush. Very, very blatant. And there was no calls. There were no calls. So even if you miss one call, there were two other calls that you could have made. And it's impacting games. So I'm with you there. But coming back full circle to the Dallas Chargers game, I felt like this was a must-win for both teams. I really do. And the more I thought about you talking about them coming off, Chargers coming off their bye week, you had 2 weeks to prepare for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
If you're a pro coach and you have a bye week and a regular week, you have 2 weeks to prepare for a team, and you're playing them on a Monday night.
That's why I thought the Chargers had an advantage. You have 2 weeks. That's why I thought they had an advantage.
That's a pure indictment on the coaching staff, if you ask me, for one. For two, you knew that they were going to pressure you, and you know this is where the league is going. The trend of the league is going to go man coverage, overload the line of scrimmage. It has to. It has to, because
the quarterback get rid of the ball because the rules are jaded towards the offense, and guys, the quarterbacks they're just too good. So
if you sit back in a zone, you're going to get called for pass interference, pass defense.
You don't get called for it. They're going to dice you up and down the field.
So you got to go, man.
What they're doing is they're trying to rush 5 to occupy all the linemen, and if you're going to chip, let's chip whoever. And they're pressuring the quarterback to force him to get rid of the ball. And I just thought 2 weeks to get ready to play. The Chargers had a huge advantage. It was a great game, but I just felt like with that, all these days to prepare, you guys should have really mopped the floor with them. When I say mop the floor, win the game. And Cowboys played great. Brandon Cooks made a great catch in the back of the end zone on a crossing route. But yeah, it was a great game. Dak used his legs.
It was a wasted effort, if you ask me, for the Chargers, because their defense played so well.
Their defense played great.
And for what it's worth, Dak does need to pull the ball down and run more versus trying to force the ball. Maybe he found something that's going to work for him moving forward, because he did look effective being able to run the ball. He was the leading rusher of the game, and doing what he was doing. So I don't know that you want to make that a habit, but in certain cases, if you can run the ball that well, pull it down.
If we're going to win by you running the ball, let's make it a habit.
Run that ball.
Yep.
I'm with you there. So the Dallas got a must win. They go to 4-2. The Chargers go to 2-3. I think it's going to be difficult for the Chargers to regain or gain some real stability being at 2-3 right now, but it's possible. It is possible.
LaVar, they have no choice. You know who's on deck now?
Who they got?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs. They do have the
Chiefs. They have no choice. Sink or swim.
They ain't beating the Chiefs. They ain't beating the Chiefs.
You don't have a choice. You can't afford to lose this game. They've always played the Chiefs well.
They do play them well.
This Chiefs offense might be the worst it's been since Herbert's been in the NFL. If sink or swim, you can't afford to go and lose this game. You can't afford it. So that's going to be a hell of a game to keep an eye on next week.
Okay, we'll see what happens there. That's a big game for the Chargers. Definitely a big game for them. And again, another need to win situation. Let's switch gears. Let's go to the Derion Kendrick situation. Post victory, they won at SoFi. The Chargers lost. They won at SoFi. The Rams win the game. He's rolling around in his vehicle through Hollywood. He gets stopped on a traffic stop. The police discover a concealed weapon, and they discover weed, and now he's facing concealed weapons charge. What's your reaction to it? And then I guess I would offer, what is the advice that you would give to guys that are in these situations and carrying concealed weapons illegally?
My reaction is, why? Like, why? Like, I get it. You out here in LA and you want to be safe. Number one, when you get pulled over, why are they searching your car? What reason are you giving them to search your car?
They might smelled that weed. They smelled that weed coming up out red. It was vibing with them. That was the only thing I could think of. That's because weed played a part in what was going on. They mentioned weed, so I'm assuming that they smelled it.
Okay. And if you feel you must carry a pistol while you smoking
in Hollywood, That's like being in Times Square. That's like
Like
carrying a firearm in Times Square.
question is, LaVar, is how many times does this have to happen till these young fellas realize this ain't the way to go? This ain't the way to go about it, because he's going to cost himself thousands of dollars because you want to smoke. Like, really? Like, you're going to cost yourself thousands of dollars whether you get suspended, you get fined, you
Or you
have to
get
get an attorney.
fired.
He's a starter, so they won't cut him because he's a starter. Now, you just cost yourself $1,000. This is the solution, and it's an easy solution. If you feel you got to have a pistol, just hire security to follow you, and guess how much that's going to be? $1,000, because you're going to spend at least $15,000 now. You're going to spend at least $15,000. All you got to do is hire security. He can roll with you, or he can follow you. $1,000 a night, baby. $1,000 a night, and he armed. So ain't nobody going to run up on you. To me, that's the solution.
If you're that paranoid, or just don't move around in the places where you need to feel like you got to carry a gun. I mean, that,
I get it. I'm gonna say 99% of dudes is carrying a pistol. I get it. But if you're gonna be smoking and doing these things, hire security. But we don't want to spend that $1,000. And now you're gonna spend way more than $1,000. Holla at me. I can get him security out here. I got security for him. Ain't nobody gonna run up on you with my security.
I think if you take it a little further and you think about what's at stake when you're carrying a gun, you're basically saying, for what I got going on around me, I'm willing to end somebody's life to make sure I'm good. Like, that's like, let's go through the cycle of the scenario. I carried a gun as well, and I still am a guy that has firearms.
LaVar, everybody is carrying a pistol. That's the thing. Like, but you can't carry it and you smoking.
But
you can't do both.
You can't be illegal. You can't be illegal carrying a gun in 2023. And I'm going to tell you why. Just say, for the sake of saying, what you thought was going to happen did happen. Somebody stopped you. They tried to jack you. You was out of place. Somebody tried to jack you. Whatever it is, they tried to rob you. And you brandished your firearm and you used it. Right? You're going to jail. If you fired that firearm and you hit somebody, you're not only going to jail, but now you got civil suits coming your way, right? So now that's double time. So my whole thing is if you are going to be moving around in a way where you feel you need to protect yourself with a firearm, just make sure you are legally carrying that firearm. I ain't going to eat your lunch over weed. Weed is smokable out here in LA. It's been made legal. Like, if you get a slap on the wrist on that, like, shame on you. Figure that one out. Like, keep it moving on that. But a firearm, and you're driving around Hollywood. You're driving around Hollywood hot with a strap. In 2023, to me, there is no win. There's no win for you carrying a strap and you play in the NFL and you're making the type of dollar that you're making. There is no reason why you should be getting caught up that way.
Get security. Get security. But you know, where we come from, we our own security. And so you got to get security. You got to be smarter. I don't know how many times this is going to happen before these guys realize he's about to spend thousands of dollars now. Thousands, plural, at minimum of 10 to 15 on an attorney. And if he's suspended or fined, it's going to cost him more than that.
Well, he's going to have to. I'm certain he's going to have to get suspended for conduct issues by the NFL, by the league, because you can't take that. You can't take that lightly.
Hey, so now the fine that he's going to incur, the attorney fees that he's going to incur,
the game check.
He could have paid for security for the next 2 to 3 years, each day after the game, if that's what he wanted. It's unfortunate, man, but these dudes got to learn. They got to learn, man. It's nothing wrong with hiring security. That don't make you a punk. That just make you. You're just being smart now. You're just gonna move differently, than you would have if you weren't in this position. That's all it is. And so hopefully others can learn from this mistake, and you thought he would learn from others' mistakes, but obviously that's not the case.
You would think by now, carrying a gun is just way too risky business. It's just way too risky business. Like, listen, I'm not one to judge anybody for what they do and the actions that they take. If you feel like you need to protect yourself, I'm not one to judge anybody. But when it becomes this, and now it's in the media, and now it's being documented, it's putting your career in jeopardy, so to speak, because I don't know what the rules are here in Hollywood. You may know them better than I do. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not in a legal deal, but there may be a mandatory sentence that comes with having a loaded gun in Hollywood. I would not be surprised.
And that's the thing. You get pulled over, you know you got a pistol. At least take the clip out. Don't make sure one ain't in the chamber ready to go. At least prepare yourself from that aspect of it. Again, man, he's a young dude. I hope nothing really happens to him, man. He can continue to support his family, but we just got to be smarter out there. That's it. You got
Got
to
to
be
be
smarter,
smarter.
more aware.
I think that's a good word to stop on. Be smarter, be more responsible, and know what you got going on. Like, for real. If a party or hanging out or the spot you about to go to requires you to have a firearm on you, you probably shouldn't go. And if you're that type of dude, where you feel like you carrying a firearm because that's who you are, then you probably should monitor and be aware of where it is that you're going in the world. If you're
Want
that
to
type
go
of
that bad
dude.
far, just hire security, bro. If you want to be in that situation, just hire security. It's that
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Just hire security.
Well, there you go. Hire security, y'all. Hire security. And make sure you listen to Up On Game. This is Up On Game. That's TJ Houshmandzadeh. I'm LaVar Arrington. We'll be back at you tomorrow. All right. Make sure you subscribe, check out, follow what we got going on Up On Game. You can also tune in to the radio show on Saturdays from 8 a.m. Well, no, it's not 8 a.m. It's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And that's noon time to 2 p.m. On Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you check us out. All right. It's Up On Game, Fox Sports Radio. We'll check you out. Till next time. Peace.
Be out.